Last week, Alex Ayala reached a new peak with her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara. The 19-year-old from the Philippines officially entered the radar of international experts. But then, less than 72 hours later, she suffered a swift defeat to Janice Jen in the São Paulo quarterfinals with a score of 6-4, 6-1. It wasn't the loss that surprised people, but her silence afterward. No explanation. No emotional post, just a single story. On to the next. For those who have followed Alex since her ITF days, they know when Ayala is silent, it means she is preparing for something. According to the official schedule, Ayala will step into the Jing Shan Tennis Open in China in less than 10 days. This is another WTA 125 tournament, the level she is currently dominating, but no one knows what mindset she will bring there. Why, despite her brilliant win in Guadalajara, is she not yet guaranteed a spot in the top 100? Why could the loss in São Paulo be the necessary step back to create a bigger leap in the Asian swing? And how can a young player from Southeast Asia shape her own strategy in a system dominated by Europe and the US? All will be decoded in this video. If you don't just want to know where Alex Ayala is, but also want to see who she will become, subscribe to the Pro Tennis Stories 360 channel. To reach the top, what else does Ayala need? Technique? Ayala has it. Mentality? It's been tested. Fitness? It's being upgraded. But what she needs now isn't in the gym or on the court. It's a personalized game strategy focused on points, timing, and opponents. How to get into a WTA 250 with a timely wildcard. How to choose tournaments with fewer stars but more points. How to gain experience in the first and second rounds of a Grand Slam instead of spending too much time in the semifinals of a WTA 125. And most importantly, how to maintain a steady mind in the face of an increasingly sharp media. Ayala is no longer a promising young talent. She is a person on a mission in the eyes of millions. And that mission cannot be fulfilled without stepping into the eye of the storm. Alex Ayala is no longer a teenage girl knocking on the door of the WTA. She has entered the threshold of maturity, where every serve is not just about technique, but a declaration: I am ready. The defeat at the SP Open did not slow her down. It was a necessary pause to wind up, to adjust her aim, and to prove that those who carry national hopes are not afraid of bumps and bruises. As the WTA is transforming, as Southeast Asia is searching for its next icon, and as the world is craving a new story, Alex Ayala could be the one to write that new chapter. But only if she dares to step out of the shadow of safety. And if you have followed this journey to the very end, you know that moment is very close. Do you think Ayala should continue to fight in smaller tournaments to gain stable points, or should she risk stepping into bigger games? Leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Pro Tennis Stories 360 channel so you don't miss the next story. Janice Jen versus Ayala. The new rivalry of Asian WTA. Every shot is a choice, and every video is a slice of history being rewritten. Guadalajara, a brilliant victory, but not enough. The win in Guadalajara marked the biggest turning point in Alex Ayala's career so far. It wasn't just her first WTA 125 title, but also the first time she completed a streak of 5 consecutive wins against seasoned players. But with the current point system, a WTA 125 title only earns her 160 points, a modest number if Ayala's goal is the top 100. Meanwhile, a first-round win at a WTA 500 event like Tokyo or Berlin can earn up to 60 points, and reaching the quarterfinals of a Grand Slam gets you 430 points. Guadalajara confirms Ayala can win at the intermediate level, but it doesn't guarantee her a ticket to the big leagues. More importantly, in Guadalajara, she faced only players from outside the top 80. The question is, how will Ayala react when she faces the top 50 and above consistently, round after round? São Paulo, the necessary slip-up. The loss to Janice Jen in the SP Open quarterfinals was not a major defeat in terms of reputation, but it was a strategic failure. Ayala was figured out from the first set, unable to adjust her game against a player with a heavy backhand and a stable mentality like Jen. Many experts point out that Ayala has a tendency to enter a self-contained spiral, meaning when she falls behind, she tries to regain control of the match rhythm with safe shots, but this very action makes her lose her speed advantage. The match at the SP Open showed that Ayala still lacks the pressure release weapon when cornered by opponents. However, this is not her first stumble. Last year, after a shocking loss at ITF Manacor, she quietly changed coaches and returned with a winning streak in Europe. Therefore, this loss could be the necessary slip-up for her to make adjustments, especially as she heads into the upcoming dense Asian swing. WTA 125 Launchpad or Golden Cage. The WTA 125 is often seen as a bridge between the ITF and WTA 250, but for Alex Ayala, it is becoming a golden cage. She is good enough to win, but if she stays here too long, she won't accumulate enough points to break through. The WTA ranking system does not reward stability in the middle. It only rewards breakthroughs at the top. In other words, if Ayala wants to get into a Grand Slam main draw without having to play qualifiers, she needs points from WTA 250 events or higher. But to get into the main draw of these tournaments, she needs a higher ranking, a difficult loop to escape. The only solution? Wildcards and shocking victories against top-ranked players. That's why many hope Ayala will be invited to the tournaments in Tokyo or Seoul. There, just one win against a top 50 player could boost her ranking twice as fast as winning another 125 title. But to do that, Ayala needs a different strategy and a different mentality. Is she ready? Jing Shan Tennis Open, the next bet. The Jing Shan Tennis Open in China is not just a technical stop on the schedule. For Ayala, this is the next strategic bet. On one hand, this tournament is an opportunity to recover mentally after the defeat in São Paulo. On the other hand, it is a test of whether she can create true stability. Winning Guadalajara was a milestone, but if she cannot maintain that winning rhythm, Ayala will be pulled back into a spiral of instability. Something that has happened to many young players who rose and then plateaued. Her opponents at Jing Shan have not been announced, but they are likely players ranked 80 to 120 in the world. Exactly the type of opponents that will make Ayala lose points if she is complacent. The challenge here is not just winning each match, but how to win quickly with minimal effort and save energy for the next series of tournaments. If Jing Shan is a stepping stone for her advancement, she must pass through it unscathed. The pressure from home. Every one of Ayala's moves is not just being watched by the WTA, but by an entire nation. In the Philippines, she is the biggest female sports icon since Lydia de Vega. Every article, every photo on Instagram, every single point is dissected by the public as national news. That is glory and also a burden. Other young players can stumble in silence, but Ayala does not have that option. A small flop in the qualifiers is enough to create a wave of criticism, doubt, and even accusations that she is past her prime. But that very pressure also makes her tougher. Coaches who have worked with Ayala say she has a strange ability to absorb pressure like energy. She doesn't avoid the spotlight, she lives in it. But the spotlight is also a double-edged sword. Just one moment of faltering, and all those expectations can become a fire that burns her down. An opportunity to change strategy. Does Ayala dare to take the risk? At this moment, Alex Ayala has two choices. Continue fighting in 125 events to maintain stability and slowly climb the rankings, or accept the risk of applying for wildcards to bigger tournaments and trading stability for a breakthrough. Names like Coco Gauff, Leylah Fernandez, and Emma Raducanu all chose the second path, and they all reaped early glory. The problem is, a risky strategy requires more than just technique. It requires a mind of steel, a smart media team, and a support system strong enough to cushion her if she falls. Currently, Ayala has many of these elements: an experienced coach, sponsorship from IMG, and strong support from her fan base. But is she ready to give up her comfort zone to step into the adult leagues? Does she dare to accept losing at WTA 250 to 500 events to gain experience, instead of winning at WTA 125 events and staying on the sidelines of the big spotlight? The answer will shape Ayala's entire 2026 season. The WTA's female ecosystem is changing. Ayala's opportunity is nearing. The current WTA is undergoing a rapid changing of the guard. Players from the 2000 to 2005 generation are gradually replacing the old guard. Serena has retired, Halep has stalled, and Osaka is just returning after giving birth. This opens up unprecedented power vacuums. Major tournaments are constantly witnessing the rise of underdog players. If Alex Ayala chooses the right time, place, and opponent, she can absolutely become the new phenomenon, especially as people are hungry for a representative from Southeast Asia to make it big in the WTA. The question is, does she see it? Or will she continue to play it safe, while the opportunity is wide open like never before? The untold backstory. What's holding Ayala back? Behind every player is an untold story. Finances, family, health, and sometimes choices bound by contracts. Some internal sources have leaked. Ayala was once invited to sign a commercial contract with a global brand, but refused to maintain her image tied to traditional values. It's possible that because of this strict selection process, she and her team still want to go slow instead of rushing forward like her peers. In addition, she maintains a close connection with her homeland in educational and sports projects for Filipino children. She doesn't just play for herself. She represents an entire generation of hope. And that's what makes every one of her decisions more difficult.